What up, YouTube? It's your boy Big Al, right back at you with another tutorial. What we're doing on this cut right here is we're going to do a razor fade, slick back, feathered on the sides. Not too tight on the sides, guys. So what I'm starting off here with is I'm starting off with my number 4 clip on my wall senior. And I'm just going up around the crown. Guys, the crown is the part, if he was wearing a crown, it'd be around the side of his head. There's the top of the crown, center of the crown, and the bottom of the crown. Right here, we're going up, right up the side of the crown, all the way around the head. Now we move on with our balder, and we're going to start making our first guideline. And what I'm doing with him is we're doing a low fade. So we're going to start our guideline right below, actually right about eye level. I'm going all the way around. Guys, if you guys ain't using a balder, I highly recommend that you use a balder. Look how easily it takes down that hair right there. Quickly, I just zero gap it, nothing special, nothing extra done to it, just zero gap. Saving a lot of time and money. If you feel like you're wasting a lot of trimmers, it's probably because you're wasting them doing this part of the haircut. So we quickly knocked that first guideline all the way around, guys. And the way I fade on this guy, on this haircut right here, not this guy, because this guy is one of my employees. His name's Tone, Big Tone. I've seen him in some of my other videos. But what I'm starting off right here, guys, I'm starting off with a number 1 clip, lever open, and I'm going right up to about the bottom of the crown. All I did is go across with a 1.5. And after I did that, I lowered my lever to a number 1 and I went all the way across. Now I grabbed my clipper over comb and I'm just going to clipper over comb and just blend it all in. Remember, we did a 1.5 and now I'm just going to blend it in. So what we're doing right here technically is we're blending in from a 1.5 to the number 4 that we used originally with the first clip when we went all the way around. And the reason we started off with the number 4, guys, is that I feel that a number 4 on the sides is almost a perfect blend for when you slick the hair back. So that's why originally we started with a number 4 clip. Then we did the number 1, and now we're just blending it out with a clipper over comb. As you can see, it's almost done right there. All we got to do now is knock off the bottom line. And what I'm doing here now is I start off with my machine with no clip on it, which is a 1/2. And I'm going all the way across, creating another guide. Once I go across, I lower my lever a 1/4 of the way and I go all the way across again. Once I do that, I lower the lever 1/2 of the way and I go all the way across halfway. Now I'm closing the lever and I'm just dotting the bottom line, just scraping the bottom line. All I'm doing is scraping that bottom line, guys. Now I'm going to grab my 1/2 clip, lever open, and I'm going to go across. And I'm just basically just hitting that center shadow, the shadow that I created when I went up with a 1/2. Just scraping the center shadow. As I go across, you can see I kind of wiggle the handle a little bit, and I mess with the handle trying to just blend it in. This side of the fade's already pretty much done. Remember, we always fade in 3 sections. We fade one side, the back side, and then the other side. Now we're going to move on to the other side. Again, we're going to go with our number 1 clip up to the bottom of the crown. Number 1 all the way across. It's actually a 1.5 because we have the lever open. Now I'm going to close the lever and I'm just going to go up, not as far, a little bit lower. Now we're going to continue with our clipper over comb. Same thing again, guys. Now we're just blending it in from the 1.5 to the number 4. Number 4 is where we originally started when we went up from the bottom of the crown to the top of the crown with our number 4. Now we're just blending it out, the number 1.5 to the number 4 with our clipper over comb. So now right here we're going back to the fade and we're going to go with our no clip, lever open, which is a 1/2, and we're going to go up about 3/4 of an inch. As I go across, I lower my lever a 1/4 of the way. As you can see, I just go across. Then I lower the lever a quarter of the way more, and I'm just basically scraping at the shadow. Always have a brush in your hands, guys. That way when you're fading, you could dust away the little particles of hair that are there. As you can see, I scrape away, and then I dust it off with my brush, my baby brush. Now I'm just messing with the lever and closing it and opening it and blending out that bottom line. Once that bottom line is done, now we're gonna move on. Now we're gonna move on with our with our half clip lever open. As you can see, the shadows right there, and I'm just messing with the center shadow. That center shadow is a shadow that we created when we went with our half. As you can see, I just go across and I just scrape it and lower my lever, and I open it and close the level. Right there, I'm kind of just working the machine. You gotta open it, close it, hitting it with the corners, just blending it out. Right there, I noticed that the shadow's a little bit darker, so we'll go back to that in a minute. Again, right here, we start off with our number 1 clip lever open, and we go up to the bottom of the crown. Same thing as we did on the other side and the back side. We go across, and as we go across, we lower the lever and go up not as high, almost blending it out. Right there, you can see just a little bit. Now we're just gonna clip or over comb it, blend out. Right there, we went up with the 1.5. The guide that we created, we're gonna blend it into the sides. Remember, originally we started with a number 4. When we went around the side of the head, we were only going around the crown. We were going from the bottom of the crown to the top of the crown. The top of the crown would be almost a top circular part of the head. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm just working on the bottom line again. I did it with no clip, went across, made a guide, and I'm just blending out that bottom line, guys. I just go across with the half. It's almost blended out. I blend it out, and as I go across, I lower my lever a quarter of the way, and then I close it all the way in. It's almost blended out. Now I'm just gonna grab my half clip. Oop. Now what I did is I grabbed my trimmer because I seen a line down there that it wasn't not erasable without the clip. So what I did is I grabbed the trimmer to just clean it up. Do that all the time. No clip, halfway open. You can see that there's a center shadow right there. That's a center shadow that we're gonna work with right here with the half clip. Lever open again. I always start with the lever open, and as I go across, I lower it a quarter of the way until I close it down. It's all closing and opening of the lever, guys. That's all it is. Closing and opening of the lever. As you can see right there, it's almost all done. Fade's done now, guys, so now we move on to the next part, which is shaving the bottom. And what I'm using here is I'm using my Bronze Series 9. Bronze Series 9 is the best shaver out there in the industry right now, guys. If you guys ain't got one, I suggest you get one. What I'm doing right there is I'm just kind of cleaning up the long hairs before I go in with the Bronze Series 9. I know I really don't need to do that with the Bronze Series 9, but for some reason it's just a bad habit. I always had to do that with the wall. But what I'm doing right here is I'm just going to grab it, and you can see, guys, it's just a smooth machine. It's super quiet. What I really like about this machine is that it leaves an extra smoothness that the wall and Andes doesn't leave. And not only that, it's probably 50% quieter than those other machines. So you can use it on little kids, which is a big plus for me because I like shaving the little kids. I like leaving those fades nice and smooth. And with the youngsters, you know, a noisy machine scares them. So right here you can see the fade's almost done. I'm just kind of touching it up with a Bronze Series 9. I love that machine, guys. You guys got to get that. If you guys aren't up on game on that machine, look at my review on it. The review's pretty good. It explains everything that a barber needs to know about that machine. So now moving on to the top of the head, and right here, guys, he's slicking it back. So I mean, he really doesn't want almost nothing. We're just gonna basically go and take all the split ends out. That way it all lays back nice. I always like to drop them down level to me. That way I don't have to work hard, guys. Remember, when you're behind the chair, you want to work smart, not hard. So what I do is I lift up my first guide and I go across. And like I said, we're only taking off the tips. So I'm gonna start. I always, like I said before, if you guys haven't seen my videos, I cut the hair in 4 sections. I split the head down the middle, and then I split that half into half. So there's 4 sections. And I start off in the middle and I go back. And as I go back, I get a little bit more. And as I go back, I get a little bit more. Because remember, on a slick back haircut, you want it longer towards the front, shorter towards the back. I'm hardly taking anything off, really. And like all my scissor cuts, guys, I always like to checker cut them. I call it checker cutting because I go from front to back and then I go from side to side. When you go from side to side, you get to see what you actually miss when you go from front to back. If you guys don't know Tony, Tony's one of my barbers here at Big Al's. He's been with me for about 3 or 4 years, about 4 years. But me and Tony are really good friends. We've been friends for probably 15, 20 years. I mean, me and him started barber school the same day. Now he works for me. It's interesting. He's a good buddy of mine. So what I did right there is I sprayed some Suavecito grooming spray, and what I'm doing is just gonna blow dry. And as you can see, all I'm doing is by blow drying, I'm just running some air through it, and I'm using my roller brush. And what I do is I set the roller brush in the front, and I just basically roll it back. I'm just blow drying only because I'm gonna apply some Tip Top pomade. So when I apply my Tip Top pomade, it goes on a lot nicer when the hair is dry. That's the only reason why I was blow drying. I'm not really blow drying it for volume because we're slicking it back. We're not pumping it. We want to kind of slick back. So we're just blow drying it for the pomade. But as you can see, when you apply the pomade, you get a real nice shine and it really looks good slicked back. It adds compliment to the haircut like that. Plus, you know, when you apply pomade, it kind of darkens up the hair a little bit. So if there is some gray hair, it makes it look, doesn't make it look so gray. It makes it look a little darker. So right here, I'm just finishing up the haircut now by doing one last clipper over comb detail. This is what I call the detail part of the haircut. We already applied our pomade, stick the hair back, and we're just gonna go over it one last time, make sure there's nothing sticking out, everything looks smooth. This last little detail parts, guys, is when you go back and you just make sure your fade is proper. There's no shadows, you know. It's like a last double check of your work. You should always go back and double check your work one last time. You want to double check your work, but one thing you don't want to do is be stressing on it and go over the same spot over and over and over. Use your mirrors. Always look in the mirrors when you're fading because remember, your eyes can't deceive you, and what you think you might be seeing is not what you're actually seeing. So always use your mirror. The mirror will never lie to you. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it for this haircut. Right here, I'm just gonna clean it up, and we're gonna finish it off. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you have any questions or any ideas or anything you want to run by me, feel free to leave a comment. I'm going to be dropping more vlogs, and I'll be coming out with more videos. So stay tuned. Catch you on the next video. Later.